Hey gamers, Coach Nate here, and in today's workout we will be covering basic utility usage and ideas when it comes to Sentinels. Whether it's locking down a site all by yourself, stopping a monster push, or hitting an insane lurk, Sentinels are powerful agents that can bail your team out of dire spots. Our main focus today will be learning about some of the ideas that you can incorporate into your own games when playing the Sentinel agent. In today's warm-up, hop into a swift play and select a Sentinel of your choice, with the focus of trying to lock down one choke point every round. Switching from choke point to choke point so you can see how it feels to play in different chokes across the map. Sentinels are defensive demons that can change the course of the game. On defense, there are two different ways for us to play as Sentinels. We can either play on site or play for retake. When playing for retake, we want to secure all entrances to the site besides the main. We also want to have our util in places where we can stall or funnel the enemies into spam spots. This will both allow time for rotates as well as potentially get your team into a man-up scenario. As a Sentinel on defense, our life is extremely important, as we can maintain multiple chokes and even entire sites, allowing our teammates to then stack and get ahead of the play. Now, let's talk about how to play on-site as a Sentinel. When playing on-site against an execution, we want to make sure we are trying to funnel the enemies into one area, so that our teammates can either help or we can limit the number of angles that they can attack us from. This can be done with a myriad of different utilities, from Sage Slow to Cypher Cage. The main goal here is to live for as long as possible so the rotates can arrive, or be in a position to deny the push entirely. When holding a site, it is extremely important to know what utility to expect from the enemy and where. This will allow you to position yourself properly, whether that is being aware of ults to Sova darts and even flashes. Being in the right position makes all the difference. Probably the most key thing when you are anchoring a site is to make sure you are patient and not leaving the site too early, because if you do and the enemy fakes, it puts you in an awkward position where you're both 50-50 playing on site and playing for retake. On attack, as most Sentinels with the exception of Sage and now Deadlock, we are going to be holding flanks and trying to catch timings. Sage and Deadlock have better utility for aiding in executions and trading, but for the rest of the Sentinels, our job is to hold one of the flanks and try to find lurks and timings. When holding flanks, you could either play with your utility and try and flank that lane, or try and flank another lane entirely. Most of this depends on what your teammates are doing, but the most important thing about lurking is that your teammates are taking space first. As your teammates create space on the other side of the map, it then opens up space for you to lurk. Obviously, lurk timings are something that can only be practiced in a game, so this is a skill that simply takes time and practice. Now, I want you to play 2 ranked games on Sentinel, making sure on attack to practice your lurk timings, and on defense to either set up for retake or to anchor the site. If you are choosing between retaking or anchoring, make sure you are aware of the other team's ults as well as your own. In some games, the enemy has too much util, so playing for retake is simply better, as well as in some games the opposite. Valorant is a game of situations and timings, so the more practice you get with those timings, especially on Sentinel, the better. Attacking on Sentinel is extremely difficult, so be sure not to get discouraged, as defense is where you will end up shining. Now that we know how to be strong Sentinel players, let's keep working on it and adding them to our agent pool. These agents, like most, require a ton of reps. If you haven't watched my other workouts from Season 1, now is a great time, as I have covered the basics of both initiator and controller roles previously. Once again, I'm Coach Nate, and have a great day.